All right. What's up, y'all? Welcome to another show of the What is Truth Podcast. And this will be a Weezy's Weekend Windup. It'll be a little bit different than usual, as we have the host of Geopolitics and Empire Podcast, Mr. Hrvoje Moric. How you doing, sir? All right. You there? I don't know if you can hear me. It looks like your audio is very, very low again.
How about now?
That's a lot better right there. Yep.
Is it better?
A lot better. All right. Well, Mr. Harvey. Not to be confused with Mr. Harvey Weinstein, I hope. Let's see. Let's get your audio levels.
I prefer Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel. All right. Well, let's see here. Sorry. I'm just scrambling and trying to get everything in order. All right. Well, the way we go about business, let's give some shout outs, huh? Let's see. What's up, Miss Hev? What's up, Miss Marion G, Stephanie, Weeping Willa, Miss Lemons, Miss T, Secret Squirrel, Roscoe Coltrane. Welcome to the stream, y'all. All right, should be a little fun this time. I do have a guest. We will go over a couple of articles and give our opinions and thoughts on them. And yeah, should be a good time. Would you like to go first, Mr. Hrvoje, aka Harvey?
You just instruct me how this all works. Sure, I can.
This is a trial and error.
Have you shared my screen, or I don't know?
Yeah,
what
I shared your screen so we can okay, there we go. There we go.
Do you see an article, or?
Yeah, I see the article on there.
It's in Spanish, so I thought this was interesting. So just go over the article, yeah? Is that how you do it, or?
Yeah, if it's a long article, you could just skim through it and highlight the important parts of it, but read through it and then where you got the article, the author, and share it.
I forgot who I got it from Cesar Vidal, who's he's well known. He's from Spain, but I think he lives actually in Florida. The Spanish government has kind of persecuted him. He's big in the Spanish-speaking world, but basically this article talks about the president of Costa Rica talking about the COVID-19 vaccine contracts. And he says, if we tell you the details, we can end up in jail. So again, he's announced the end to mandatory vaccination in Costa Rica. People remember Costa Rica, they had the vaccine passports mandatory, and then you couldn't even enter without vaccine passport. So they've ended that, and they're opening an investigation into the contract, the vaccine contract signed by the previous government and Pfizer. And it's interesting because what else does it say that's interesting here? They're opening an investigation into those contracts signed by the prior government and the pharmaceuticals. Says we're going to investigate why did they buy so many of these vaccines when the information when it says that the market was like saturated, it was not necessary. So first of all, why was the previous government buying so many vaccines unnecessarily? They bought. I don't know what else does it say that's interesting. And that basically they were not going to be used. They were going to expire. And that's the same thing that happened in 2009 with the swine flu. Like most of the governments ended up buying, 80% of the vaccines they bought in 2009 were just thrown away. But what else is interesting? He says that they can't share the details because I guess according to the contract, if you share the details, you could end up in jail. Um, and then he says, because that would violate the contract, which was redacted by the daughter of the ex-president, a very good lawyer, which I guess represented Pfizer. So how about those? That the corruption, the president, the daughter, Pfizer, and so this is a good sign because I mean they're showing the corruption at least in Costa Rica between big pharma and how big pharma made the government basically buy all these crazy vaccines, waste all this money, and make this crazy deal where you can't even share the details. If you go to jail if you share the details.
That's
So
insane. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, the corruption just carries on. All right, let's see. I will share screen as well. There we go. Okay, should be having my screen. I want to go over the talk of the town, the Trump raid. This is from the New York Post, dated today, August 13, 2022. Author is Callie Patterson. Despite former President Donald Trump suggesting federal agents may have planted evidence during their raid of his Mar-a-Lago resort this week, he and his family were able to see the whole operation on security camera footage, one of his lawyers revealed Thursday. It's kind of funny, I think the folks in New York, President Trump and his family, probably had a better view than I did because they had the CCTV footage they were able to watch, Christina Bobb told Real America Voice. I was stuck in the parking lot there to, collect paper and answer questions, she added. But they were actually able to see the whole thing, so they actually have a better idea of what took place inside. Let's see. So yeah, basically, if you've been living under a rock, earlier this week, Trump's property was raided. The other side will say it wasn't a raid. For me, it's all more political theater. It's many ironic things are going on. We see people on the left cheering on the FBI. Meanwhile, just a few months ago, they were talking about defund the police. And then you could flip that around too. People on the right that back the badge and are all for law and order are now demonizing the FBI. And then you have the FBI director that raided his home or conducted it was appointed by Donald Trump himself. So I'm sure there's going to be more developing stories. It's still, a lot of things are still a little murky. And if you read stuff from the left, you get one side. You read stuff from the right, you get another side. I guess we're just going to have to wait until things settle down a little bit. What are your thoughts on it?
I would tend to agree with you that it's just the theater. I'm seeing interesting commentary on Twitter. I think it was, again, Thomas Massey, the congressman, talking about, I don't have it in front of me, the tweet, but he had a really good comment. Let me see if I can find it quickly. But there are one of the theories is that they're going to try to ban him, use this to ban him from even being able to be a candidate. So,
well, you hear that, and then you hear on the flip side that this is only going to cement his nomination. So it's just, you're hearing, it depends on what you're listening to, that, obviously if you're on one side of the aisle, you're going to listen to only things that you may like, and completely ignore. Oh, that's another article I want to cover for sure. Or was that going to be your funny one?
Which one?
The Queen Elizabeth one.
Oh, you see it? Yeah. Well, yeah, go ahead. But just along the COVID lines. Yeah, well, anyways, yeah. I had the crazy theory. I mentioned it to you before that I think Trump will come back. This is all theater.
Yeah.
WWE, he'll come back, he'll win, and then it's going to be pretty crazy times. But we might even go authoritarian under Trump. So
Yeah, different flavors of totalitarianism, like your guest Ian Davis that you had on mentioned.
no, I haven't had him on yet.
I thought you did.
But I will have him on actually next week. So.
Oh, okay. I would love to get Ian Davis on. Oh, maybe I heard him on James Corbett is where I heard him. Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, so yeah, that's probably where the mistake happened. You are next as far as the article.
I think this is also big news following the COVID stuff that Alex Berenson, the journalist, I think he was New York Times, he was deplatformed. Then he was just re-platformed. And apparently he found the documents. He found the primary source data, which showed that the White House... So this is a smoking gun. They say, Twitter can censor you because it's a private company. Well, in this case, it was the government censoring him. The government told Twitter to censor him, which is a violation of the freedom of speech, the First Amendment. So like he says, the First Amendment does not apply to private companies like Twitter. But if the companies are acting on behalf of the federal government, they can become state actors that must allow free speech and debate, just as the government does. So apparently he just announced on his Twitter he's going to sue I guess Twitter and the government, and it seems like a pretty clear case. If he's got the documents, the messages showing the government was censoring his speech. So I think this is a pretty big deal, and it would be the same for many of us. Like I think my PayPal was taken because of the government telling PayPal to take me down. Here you have the government telling Twitter to take this guy down.
Touch on that. You do talk about it, but briefly, what happened with your PayPal? How did that get taken down?
It's the same way I think with what happened with this guy on Twitter. Because the timing just tells you everything. They rolled out the Disinformation Governance Board. The Department of Homeland Security decided to create this other agency called the Department of Disinformation Governance Board. And that same week, literally, it's like the same day or the next day or the second 2 or 3 days later, or whenever, they took down they're more prominent organizations, Mint Press News and Consortium News, and me from PayPal. We were all banned from PayPal simultaneously. What are the chances that the three of us who have similar anti-empire, anti-establishment views are taken down the same week Disinformation Governance Board is brought out?
Yeah.
It's clear it was at the behest of the government, not PayPal. And it's the same thing. And I'm sure it's the same thing all across the board, whether it's Twitter or PayPal or any other big tech platform, usually. So
right. Yeah, the hand of censorship just keeps on creeping on by. Let's see. All right. So my article, I will do this one on this one came out a couple of weeks ago, and let's see, it's from the Express, and it's regarding Prince Charles and his ties to Saudi money, and not just Saudi money, but Osama bin Laden Saudi money. Interesting stuff. He's been in the hot seat. Interesting thing is, the Express wrote a following article. You can find it on the Google search. It's called Prince Charles Blood Money, Under Fire for Blood Money. You click on the article and the article has been taken down. So it sounds like the Express is already, maybe they've been told, hey, you guys could have a little fun, but too much fun, and there's gonna be some problems. So yeah, they removed that article about a week ago. So I have to resort to this one that's a little bit older. This one is written by Thibault Spurlet, I believe. Got to question future king's judgment. Charles sparks furious debate over Saudi cash. Let's see. Prince Charles has found himself engulfed in another scandal as the Prince of Wales reportedly accepted a £1 million donation from the Saudi bin Laden family in 2013. The royal family member is believed to have met with the half-brothers of September 11 terrorist Osama bin Laden to accept the generous donation on behalf of the Prince of Wales charity, PWCF, despite opposition from royal advisors. This scandal adds up to recent reports he accepted £3 million, including £1 million stuffed into a suitcase from a controversial Qatari politician. The article basically goes on, and yeah, it seems like a lot of people are giving him grief, rightfully so. But it just more. Sometimes I'm bewildered that some of this stuff gets out, and why does it get leaked out? Because everything that we hear on the news isn't a surprise. It's been let out for a certain reason. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I had the same thought. Like, first of all, how did they let that get out? If they did they want it to get out, and why? And as well, I also had the thought, this Prince Charles he's got a lot of money. So what's, £1 million to him? And, would it even have been worth taking those £1 million from who they took it from? Would it have been worth all of this media noise now,
Yeah.
And so
that's what I'm saying. Like, and this stuff could easily been swept under the rug. So why was it out? That's where I come from. Like you said, they have so much money, so many assets, and £1 million. It sounds like a lot. That maybe that's been deliberate. £1 million stuffed into a suitcase. So we get this impression, but $1 million to them is nothing in reality.
Yeah, that's why I don't know, or maybe there is this. I mean, it's part of the whole Great Reset thing where they want to make the current ruling elites get rid of some of them or make them look bad. Because that goes to another article that I found as well. Now, the Telegraph is talking about the tyranny of Justin Trudeau being exposed. Boris Johnson, all of these, the Sri Lanka president, many others, things seem to be going in that direction.
You want to share that?
And which one?
That one that you're talking about.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, this is also kind of surprising. This is just from yesterday, I guess. The tyranny of Trudeau has finally been exposed by two Brits. How a lawsuit has shown Canada's travel vaccine mandate had little to do with science and everything to do with politics. The point really was, where was it? From court documents, which the author broke herself, basically showing how senior government bureaucrats scrambled to find a scientific rationale for the mandates just days before it was due to come into force. And two British immigrants filed a civil suit against Trudeau in the federal court. And I guess documents related to that civil suit show that Trudeau, the bureaucrat charged with, let me see. Well, basically, I think the most important point is that, where is down here somewhere, that the person in charge, the bureaucrat, had an undergraduate degree in English literature. Not science, right? Didn't have the scientific knowledge to enforce the mandates. There were no doctors or anyone, but we know that they were taking orders from Klaus Schwab, who's penetrated more than 50% of the Canadian government. So obviously you have this English major launching the vaccine mandate, and so and I thought this was a powerful paragraph. It says the tale of Trudeau's vaccine mandates has ramifications far outside Canada. The world over, governments have invoked draconian powers, heretofore only used in wartime, to control and regulate their people and curtail fundamental liberties such as the right to gather or mobility. Everywhere people are told by their governments, much as Trudeau told Canadians, we're sorry, we hate to restrict your freedom, but we're just following the science and the evidence. We know in the case of Canada's travel mandate, that was simply false. In the Canadian case, Trudeau's ministers have made it clear that the suspended mandates could come back, as indeed could COVID-based restrictions the world over. So yeah, basically those documents show that there was just the English major that said, let's put the vaccine mandates. And so, yeah, it's a joke, really. So
yeah. The joke carries on. Yeah, that's a very, very nice article. And where was that from again?
The UK Telegraph.
The Telegraph. Okay, copy that. All right. Well, I like to do a couple of serious articles and then a couple of more lighthearted, silly ones to end the stream. On a good note. Did you have one, or was that the one that you were planning on using? The Queen Elizabeth one?
I got a couple extras, but go ahead, whatever you got.
All right, I'll go with that one then. Let's see. Here's screen. All right. So, for a little bit of silliness, I will choose this one from the Express as well. Our author is John Barga. Trying to erase women. Fury erupts over claims Elizabeth I may have been non-binary. Get the hell out of here. An academic has provoked a tidal wave of fury on social media after claiming Elizabeth I was a non-binary person. What triggers people to write this kind of nonsense? It's beyond me. All right. The famous British monarch is perhaps best known for her defeat of the Spanish Armada in May 1588. She has been immortalized in plays, films, books, and is perhaps Britain's best-loved female ruler. However, an academic working for London's Shakespeare Globe has cast doubt on her gender identity. Dr. Kit Hayam published an essay for the theater that sought to defend look at this error. Look at that. Come on. Where's the editor? Gosh darn it. The Globe's decision to stage a new play featuring a non-binary Joan of Arc. The academic argued that historical women were not only rebels for performing what were considered typically male tasks, but also in some sense adopted a male identity. Dr. Hayam wrote, Elizabeth I described themselves regularly in speeches as king, queen, and prince, choosing strategically to emphasize their female identity or their male monarchical role at different points. Inhabiting that social role and dressing in the clothes associated with it, while living and working among men, may not have just felt like gender defiance. It may have had a profound impact on their sense of self. The essay provoked a furious reaction from social media users who were quick to air their views on the matter. Buck Angel tweeted, "They keep trying to erase women." While Jen wrote, "Elizabeth I then being revised." All right. "She can't just be a woman in an extremely powerful position, can she? Oh no, we must find some way to make her a tiny bit male." On and on and on. Just more hilariousness with these, in my opinion, non-science based gender claims. And we saw an article a couple of weeks ago. I think I read it on one of these weekend windups as well, where even archaeology is getting a revisionist treatment. What are your thoughts on that, man?
On the article or
yeah, just the article.
Yeah, I just see it as more proof. people can also we touched on this idea somewhat yesterday on with the guest before you were on TNT, but the woke imperium, the U.S. empire, and I think this is just proof that it's kind of it's silly, but it's serious at the same time, because it's proof that what we're dealing with is on one hand, it's a cult, it's an ideology, it's a totalitarian ideology. It's like the Bolshevik Revolution, this is like neo-Bolshevism, because what do? They come in, they break all of they erase history, right? So we see them taking down the statues in the U.S. and the U.K. So they took down the statue of Cecil Rhodes. I'm not a fan of Cecil Rhodes, but the point of that is to erase all history and to establish
It's revisionist, and in a bad sense.
But it's totalitarian because
and it's also the insertion of presentism, using what you're living through today and trying to insert that into the past as if that's gonna fly. I mean, you're talking about 1588. Are people really that naive and gullible to think that in 1588 people were talking about in the terms of they and she and they and all these pronouns crap? It's ridiculous, but sure enough, I'm sure there will be people that will agree with that crazy person's perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just wonder how many. Hopefully not too many, but
yeah.
Yeah, I hundreds of years ago, I don't see any of this flying. I mean, this is just nonsense. This is the person putting this out there is an agent of this new empire that we're dealing with, and we'll see if it succeeds or not. It's up to the public to buy into this. If enough people buy into it and normalize it, then we're screwed. So we're gonna have to see.
Play it out, wait out. All right, my man. What article do you have for us? As as a little lighthearted one to end the stream.
I didn't have anything else.
Oh, that's fine. I was gonna share one. Roscoe Coltrane sent it over. It was a woman allegedly won a cookout by. She kept losing the cookout, and she started harvesting testicles from the local morgue to win the meatball cookout. And I was gonna share that, and then I found it was fact checked, and it was satirical. So that's the only reason I'm not sharing it, Ross. Otherwise, I would have shared it.
I do have a story, real life story related to testicles, to horse testicles. When I lived in Mongolia, I was out visiting some out in the middle of nowhere, some nomads, and they were I forget how you call it, but basically chopping off the testicles of the horses. I guess so they couldn't
neutering.
I guess so they couldn't have make more
baby neutering
horses, but
neutering.
Yeah, and they were eating the testicles. They were cooking them and boiling them, and I was at that moment like, what's that guy in the show, Bear
Grylls. Yeah.
Right, Grills, yeah. It was that moment where like, shouldn't I? It's a once in a lifetime experience. And then one of the Mongolian dudes was chewing on the cooked testicle.
Yeah.
So I was on the brink of doing it, but when I saw him chewing it, like it was like chewing gum, where you have to just chew, because imagine it's like a testicle, I guess it's rubbery.
Yeah.
And he was just chewing it for salt. If it's one of those things where you can eat it quickly and get it over with, okay. But the fact that I'd have to chew it, for
savor
so long,
it.
Like, no, thank you. I passed. So
savor the hard work and effort that beast has been through over the years. No thanks.
So yeah, I passed on that.
Yeah, man. In some parts in the some of the cowboys, they'll cook when they neuter the bulls or whatever, they cook them up and they call them Rocky Mountain oysters.
Really?
You haven't heard that term?
No.
Yeah. I'm not exaggerating. They call them Rocky Mountain. If someone ever comes up to you and it's a cowboy, has a mullet, some cowboy boots, rattlesnake skin belt, and they offer you Rocky Mountain oysters, I would suggest to kindly decline. Although, who knows? Maybe they are tasty. You never know.
It might help with all the if you've been injected with the thing, today. It could help your fertility though. So
Yeah. It's funny how so many things get attributed to fertility, from rhinoceros bone to all kinds of stuff. My man, Mr. Hrvoje Moric, chilling over there on the chilling like a villain over in the Europeanese continent. Where can people find you? You are on YouTube as well, right?
For now, yeah. Shadow banned, I think.
But where would you like people to follow you on?
Just go to the website geopoliticsandempire.com and as well as tntradio.live.
My man, thank you very much. It was a great time. You were my first guest on it, and I think we rocked it without doing a little pre-warm up, but it turned out okay. Simpsons hands for Mr. Hrvoje Moric, everyone. Thank you, my man. Thank you so much. Hopefully you have a exquisite rest of your. What time is it over there? It's pretty late, isn't it? Are you 5 hours ahead of me?
10 p.m. It's not too late.
Oh, okay. There you go. You got plenty of time to hang out and have gift wars. My man, everyone in the live chat, please stay or go to Odysee in about half hour. Gonna have Data Hoax. He's gonna share some UFO footage he took. It's pretty. You got to see it, Hrvoje. I'll send it to you. It's pretty wild stuff. And I know this guy, so it's not like it's a hoax type of deal, He took it in his backyard. It's freaking amazing. But yeah, we're gonna check that out and have a little chat with Mr. Data Hoax on Odysee. So follow the link there. Thank you so much again, Hrvoje. Everyone, check him out. Follow him. He has great content, great guests on a routine basis. Thanks again, my man, and thanks everyone. We'll see you.